Yo, welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people. Thank you for returning subscribers and members. What we do here, if you are new, is we react to the most disturbing and creepy videos from the internet, and we go through the latest. If you like what you see, don't forget to sub up, turn on the notifications, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. With that being said, let's roll.
Video is for entertainment purposes only.
So I'm not trying to freak anybody out. I was going to talk about this for a while, but is anyone else looking into the fact that there's 76 volcanoes that are currently erupting? Our poles have moved astronomically. They're moving faster than they ever have in history. And on top of that, we've got the earthquakes everywhere and the fires. We've got earthquakes that are happening at Yellowstone National Park and Santorini, which are two of the most massive volcanoes. We have the gases that are coming from these different volcanic eruptions that are spreading all over the planet. And then on top of that, we've also got the solar flares that are hitting the magnetic field of our planet, which, if it weakens enough, can actually cause the poles to flip. And that's concerning, because if you've looked into what happens if that, I mean, we don't know for sure. It's theoretical for entertainment purposes only, always and forever, of course. But theoretically, it wouldn't be good. Who knows? There could be some saving grace. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it'll just all calm down. But it goes along also with the Hopi prophecy of the two brothers or twins flipping, and then the weakening, and then the floods and all that jazz that seems to be. And then we've got the airplanes on top of that, which could either be maybe from the magnetic field or the solar flares or from the poles shifting. I have no idea, but there's a lot of plane crashes that are happening. You can't deny that. I mean, at first I was like, okay, we're just focusing more on no, there's more. And I mean, double what the normal volcanic eruptions are. That's a lot. I thought it was a lot last year, but it seems like it's kind of adding up, is all I'm going to say. I'm just wondering if anyone else is paying attention to any of this. I mean, I'm not going to let it stress me out. You shouldn't either. Woosah. The Earth goes through cycles. We all know that. It's just wondering if we're on the end of the cycle. That's all. Okay, WA.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world right now, people. Have you seen what's going on in Texas? The floods, the world is bonkers.
The Wells Fargo.
Yeah, there's a lot of water there. You got to wonder if we're able to control, modify weather like this, then have we always been able to control, modify weather like this? And wouldn't it look like some type of godlike miracle if you was able to manipulate water and things, or bring massive floods in dry lands? X marks the spot, hey?
While the Air Force insists HAARP is not an offensive weapon and is necessary for continuing national security, Alaskan native Nick Begich proposes a different scenario in this new book.
The things that we found in other Air Force documents, one in particular was a document put together in '82. The document was called Low Intensity Conflict in Modern Technology, with a foreword by none other than Newt Gingrich. And one section spoke about using radio frequency radiation transmitters for disrupting human thinking, for basically debilitating troops invisibly by being able to bombard them with radio frequency that was tuned to just the right frequency in just the right waveform so as to totally disrupt their mental process and basically debilitate those troops.
Because of HAARP's potential to disrupt the Earth's magnetic field, many observers are concerned that it will damage the biomagnetic sensors that migratory animals like salmon and birds depend upon.
Anything that HAARP can do to the magnetic field is orders of magnitude smaller than the natural variations of the Earth's field. So I would have to say, no, there's nothing we can do to affect the salmon.
But what generates the most concern by far is HAARP's ability to tamper with and punch holes in the ionosphere.
The thing that one of the Air Force documents points out is that they want to use this heater to create enough energy in the ionosphere to get a runaway effect up to the next stabilizing level, whatever that might be.
It's precisely whatever that might be that worries Dr. Patrick Flanagan, a physicist who believes the ionosphere is extremely fragile.
The ionosphere is a chaotic system that is on the edge of instability. So the trigger point for HAARP would be that energy and that frequency which throws the ionosphere into chaos.
Years ago, that video was about HAARP and the potential of it. So can you imagine what it's got now? I think it's always been here. Always been out, as you probably kind of guessed now by watching my videos. But yeah, scary conversation 30 years ago.
Here at the Glamham Radio channel, we are aware of recent public concern regarding glowing orbs, low-flying triangles, and lights moving at impossible speeds. These sightings are not related to any classified military technology currently being tested. Shiny goose. While some objects display advanced maneuverability, this could also be due to atmospheric distortion, optical illusions, or a reflective bird. The government has investigated thoroughly and can confirm that these are natural aerial events with no connection to any autonomous aerial technology. Chrome-plated pigeon. What you are seeing is definitely not next-gen defense systems like Fury, an autonomous fighter jet developed by Anduril capable of operating without a human pilot. Unlicensed flamingo. Although should such systems exist, they could perform maneuvers faster than human reaction time and appear silent due to design. Pelican with a gimbal. We urge the public to avoid speculation, refrain from making irresponsible TikToks, stay indoors and avoid pointing lasers at the sky. Don't scare the birds. Basically, ignore the sky. The sky will know. Thank you. Good night. Stealth toucan. Invisible hawk with Wi-Fi. I'll see you in the comments. Government plane stalks.
I have no idea. All I know, right, is the world is bonkers.
Sí, den Klummen i kilometers stress aí. Do like the reason there are no more reasons.
So the magic trick was to make the moon disappear, but there we have two moons. We have two moons. Our world now has two moons. Wherever that is.
I don't think we're advancing at all.
No.
I think that's one of the great illusions. And I wonder, when I take a look at the world today and I look at the ancient civilizations that were bombing, the old church structures that were bombing, I see this very intentional darkening of mankind. I actually think, if you want to get into my conspiracies, that the Enlightenment was not an enlightenment. I think it was the darkening of mankind. I think something happened. There was some sort of a great reset in about 1850. And if you control the textbooks and you control what people know, and they tell you, oh, well, it was so terrible and everybody was dying. We don't know. We have no idea. And I do think that there is, we have removed ourselves from the source. Like we've removed ourselves from God in so many ways. And I mean, even when I realized, and this is like a small thing that happened in my life, so this is totally anecdotal, But when I moved down here and Tennessee, and I was like, okay, well, I want to start to grow stuff. Like I'm from New York City. I want to learn to like grow vegetables, and kind of went outside and realized I had no idea how to do that. I had no idea what agricultural zone I was in. I didn't know what could grow. And I said, and this is advanced civilization. I can't feed myself. I don't know how to grow and drop a seed down. And then this older woman who's got like 26 grandchildren helped me. And she's like, you just put the seeds in the dirt and here's what grows here. And just this spiritual awakening that I had, that I was an absolute idiot. For all the fancy things living in New York City, okay? If the electricity went out, they would die. They would all die, okay? And they are the brightest minds. Oh, they're so bright. They're so smart. They have these cars, these cars that can drive by themselves. Oh, so you're saying they can't drive? Like, so the people, we're going to get to a place where we don't know how to drive. We don't know how to grow our own food. We don't know how to take care of our own children. I mean, even the idea, and this is another thing I thought about recently, obviously, because I'm exclusively breastfeeding my infant. And I'm thinking to myself, I sent a text to Brett Cooper, who I used to, a former colleague of mine, and I said to her, because she's pregnant, think about the fact that they created this environment where women are paying, right, going to the store and paying for formula. And this is now a household expense, right? Formula, because it's easier. You'll be able to get to work. I bet something that your body just produces for free. I mean, we're really quite dumb. If you spend a lot of time thinking about it, we're idiots. Our grandparents were smarter than us. Think about this all the time. My grandfather could go outside. He knew every, this grows here, that's poison. He could look at it and tell you if you had a burn, a cut. He knew what he could pull and fix. And we have none of that knowledge because we've given it to these gods, these doctors. And what do we get for it? We get vaccines. We get kids that have never been sicker. You're telling me that society has advanced and kids are allergic to oxygen? I mean, I'm being facetious a little bit, hyperbolic, but these kids are allergic to everything. They're like peanuts and tree nuts, and now they can't allow C nuts and D nuts. And I'm going, okay, kids are allergic to everything. And you're telling me that this is because there's been medical advancements. Women don't know how to feed their own children. And I stopped reading the internet of telling me how to do. I'm like, why am I asking the internet, like, how often I should feed my infant? This is so weird. I'm in some weird simulation where we've let go of our instinct, our divine instinct. And so, no, I actually think this is not progress. And I think that when you get these tech lords that come in and tell you how great it's going to be when your car is going to be able to drive itself, I just think, no, thank you.
Excellent.
No, thank
You're
you.
describing degeneration. Degeneration, almost by definition, is a decomposition down to the smallest unit. That's what happens when things degenerate. If you degenerate down to the level of the individual, you have no cohesion, you have no elders, you have no wise woman that's going to tell you how to grow vegetables and to encourage you how to look after your children. No multi-generational relationships, no true family, no community.
Ancestry is so
church.
important.
Yes, you're quite right. You're quite right.
Yeah, that is what I want to do. I want to grow my own food. I want to clean my own water, and I want to be self-sufficient. I want to basically work out a way, the best possible way, to use the sun to power the place. So I haven't got to pay utilities and all that sort of stuff. And just be self-sufficient. That's what I'm going to do. That's my goal in life. Before, I get too old to do it. That is what I want to do. Let me know if there's anyone out there that does that. I know they're back in the Homestead. I haven't heard or seen Homestead for a long time, but I'm pretty sure he lives in some land. Homestead, if you're still watching, let me know. Or anybody else that is doing this, let me know.
Y'all, I'm pretty sure that we are in Revelations and that the Bible talked about moments like this, y'all. This is a lake in Aviso, California. The whole lake turned red. And look at all this foamy substance on the bank, y'all. Doesn't this remind you of the waters turning into blood in the book of Revelations, Revelation 16:3-4? And the second and third angel poured out their bowls into the sea, into the lake, and everything in the sea and the lake. So we're not just seeing red lakes, y'all. It seems that the planet has been showing her emotions as of late because a red sky just happened in Atlanta, y'all. Look at this. What is going on?
Y'all, it's 9 o'clock at night in Atlanta. Tell me why the sky look like this. What going on? What in the Stranger Things is
Look at that.
What's
Y'all, it is 9 o'clock at night. Why does the sky of Atlanta look like that? It's 9:30 p.m. over here and the sky's completely dark as opposed to that little bit of blue. But red skies, red lake, y'all. We are witnessing some amazing things right now, y'all. You can call it anything, but all I know is this is prophetic, y'all. I mean, look how red that sky is. But like, follow, and share for more videos like this, y'all. The shift is here. Let's continue to get it.
Why have we got a red lake? I mean, what could cause water to turn red? I mean, this stuff is biblical, right? This is in biblical times, but you would never imagine like you would actually see a river, lake, whatever it was, red. It is absolutely bonkers.
So the object is moving too fast to be caught up in the gravity of even the sun. So this object will be coming behind the orbit of Mars and will be approximately 2.4 astronomical units from our planet, or about 225 million miles, give or take. Now the object is considered super dense and would be considered a, quote, planet killer if it hit us. But it's not considered a threat whatsoever. Matter of fact, some scientists are saying that if this object is made by aliens of some kind, it could be heading this way to see if anything's alive here in this solar system and what, if anything.
The mothership from the Anunnaki is on its way, people.
All the trees in the world stopped growing 4 times since 13,000 years ago, Mark.
Really?
All the trees. Trees in Scandinavia, trees on the top of the Sierras in California, trees in Russia, trees in bogs in Ireland. They go back and they all stop growing.
Wow. How do we know this?
Mike Bailey, who's a very noted dendrochronologist, he put together the Irish long bog oak chronology, where he's able to go back 8,000 or 9,000 years by piecing together literally kind of wood that matched, and you could follow it all the way back. Well, that's been done. Very, very difficult, painstaking work. He helped lead it worldwide. And his first realization after it all came out, it was about 10, 15 years ago, was, well, shit, every tree on Earth stopped growing.
Trees stopped growing. I mean, you see trees, smaller trees growing in plants and things. So I don't know specifically what he means. But if that is true, then that is a little bit weird. And anyone would think that our planet is secretly under attack.
The satellite tracker is on, and we have an unidentified flying object in the upper right screen. We like to call this type a firefly because it often flashes yellow, orange, or white before vanishing. In this case, for about 10 seconds before reappearing. As you can see, our satellite tracking app is not showing any satellites. Supposedly, this app shows all satellites, both marked and unmarked, including secret satellites. Additionally, there is another unidentified flying object passing by the firefly at the same moment. However, neither of these UFOs are shown on the satellite app, which up until this point has been showing satellites all night.
Wow, that is bonkers. I'm convinced that our world is covered all around it with UFOs.
Was 1 million. Department. And I said, okay. It's bigger than the Pyramid of Giza. Must be the original one. And he said, protection of survivors of some cataclysm. And it's very human-like. So I don't know what's going on here. I said, and the sun looks really weird. And he said, I don't care about the sun. Tell me more of what's on the ground.
Well, okay, that fits into the theory that we're from Mars then, and we invaded Earth. But yeah, maybe we were bigger back then, and maybe that's why there was bigger people on Earth back then, but because of the atmosphere or because of the environment, we have got smaller because it doesn't fit the way we should have been, and that's probably why some things are not natural to some people. Interesting. Let me know your thoughts, peeps. Yeah, there's something up with the moon landing. I'm not quite convinced on it, but I don't know if they would. Why would they have someone holding the flag? Wouldn't it hold itself up? So yeah, I'm not sure about that, but it would surprise me.
Soon we will be Zeiche, we will all see the building of the third temple in Jerusalem very soon. And we honor our President Trump for what he has done for Jerusalem and for the Jewish people. Be careful, Be careful.
Thank you, Rabbi. I'm glad I told him to do that. He did a very good job. You've done that before, Rabbi, I guess, huh? A couple of times, huh? Thank you very much. Great gentlemen, great people.
Jerusalem has prepared everything needed to welcome their Messiah. The most important sign for this prophecy to be fulfilled is the red heifer. And you will be surprised to know that 2 years ago, 5 red heifers were spotted and brought to Israel. These cows match exactly the description given in the Bible.
Well, 3 years ago, the arrival of 5 red heifers in Israel attracted global attention. Well, today, those cows are in ancient Shiloh. CBN's Chris Mitchell explains the significance of this historic event.
Here in Shiloh, first time after 2,000 years, we have real kosher red heifers.
These are the 5 red heifers out here in Shiloh. 2 have already been disqualified, but you only need 1 to qualify for the ceremony, for the purification, for the temple.
As you can see, the preparations are set. Why is Israel rushing to prepare everything for their so-called Messiah? Because they are not preparing for the true Messiah, Jesus Christ, the King of Kings. No, they are preparing for the false one, the Antichrist. This is not speculation. The Bible has told us that before the true Messiah returns, the world will first accept a counterfeit, a deceiver who will come in his own name. The red heifer ceremony is not just a ritual. It is the key that unlocks the door to the next phase. Without it, the third temple cannot be purified, because once that sacrifice is made, the countdown begins. And here's what most people don't realize. Once the third temple is built, it won't be long before the Antichrist steps in and declares himself to be God. The Bible calls this the abomination of desolation. Jesus himself warned about it in Matthew 24. He said that when you see it happen, those in Judea should flee to the mountains, because the greatest time of trouble the world has ever seen will begin.
It seems very difficult to keep up, but there's a lot going on with biblical stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Someone enlighten me with this, because I'm not too sure. I did see a temple being built in Jerusalem on another video. I think we did this a couple of days ago. So, I mean, is it all part of the show, all part of the script that we've seen going on? It does feel like our world is a stage right now. And is it a man-made stage, or is it a real biblical stage?
What is all that? What is all this? Guys, look at this. Look at this sky. What's going on? What is going on in the sky? Holy crap. Oh my God, look at that. Why? I don't know what's happening. Oh my God, I don't know what's happening. Look at this shit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at the sky, guys. What the hell? What's happening? What is happening in the sky? I don't know. This is crazy. This is so crazy. I don't understand it. I'm in the Catalina foothills. And this is what the sky is doing. Guys, this is crazy. Oh my gosh. I'm flabbergasted.
I have no doubt in my mind that is authentic, real video. So with that being said, what is that? Because there is a lot of UFOs flying around, acting like they're children just playing around in the sky.
Done that, Ellie would have, well, I would have just been killed outright. Ellie, they would have turned into Muti, they've eaten her,
Hannibals?
Well, they don't eat, they use the child for Muti. That means if you eat her finger or something, then you have luck for life, You must have heard of that, surely.
Like satanic stuff, like is that witchcraft?
Well, you go back in time, the Vikings and all the people before that, the different ages in which we live,
So what would have happened if
the police said to me that if they had killed her, they would have used her for Muti. Muti. It's medicine. Witchcraft. I'm surely you've heard of that.
Yeah.
So she would have been her head would have been dangling from a taxi mirror, They boil the head until it's shrunk. They hang it from a taxi.
That guy just reminds me of that John McAtee guy, the antivirus guy. Can't remember his name exactly, but it just reminded me of it, like a cross between him and Elon Musk, the way he talked. Obviously, it was his dad, I think. But what is he talking about? There is some weird stuff going on in that conversation. I've not got the background of it. I've just found that, but very weird conversation.
What is the lie? So UFOs are real, and they've been here a long time, and that's the truth. But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe.
So you're saying Free Body Problem is a real box set about a craft that sounds like artificial intelligence making its way to Earth, and the sky is all glitchy, and yeah, I don't know. How do we know you're not lying? Like, this is the thing. Like, there's so much misinformation. You just don't know what the truth is. All I can see is what I can see. But that could be a lie too. It all could be an illusion. You see what I'm saying? It's just a very confusing world. Whoa. I mean, don't get much more remote than that. Anybody like to live there? I would love to live there, except for probably all the animals, pythons and massive spiders and whatever else would be in there. That would be scary.
I am more convinced than ever that there is something happening. I am not any more convinced that it is alien in nature, but I am more and more confident that it does defy science as we understand science today. Energy signatures, transient, physical evidence. Somehow you can see gaps in GPS data, gaps in geospatial data, gaps in energy returns. Like, it's the strangest thing, man. And nobody can explain it. Experts in their field can't explain it. Technical experts with the equipment can't explain it. Physicists, astrophysicists, scientists can't explain it, but it happens and it's consistent, not everywhere, but in certain places. So why the hell is it that when I'm in a strange ranch in southern Colorado, I see the same weird that I see in the mountains of Nevada, but I don't see either of, like, those two things are consistent. But then when I go to someplace in Tennessee, we don't see how does that happen? How is it, how is it that I can go one city over, I can go one national park or one state park over to where the terrain is exactly the same, granite rock to granite rock, but energy signatures are different, geospatial data is different, magnetic anomalies are different. How does that happen? The proof that I'm seeing is not that it's alien, but the proof that I'm seeing is sure as hell that it is weird. There's so much strange shit that happens in our country that we don't even understand, that defies the laws of science as we understand them, the laws of physics as we understand them. And it stumps not just me as a CIA officer, but a whole range of experts that I've talked to.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff going on in our world, people. What in the hieroglyphics is going on there? Yeah, simplified way of putting it, the Earth could well be flat. But that is the end of the show, peeps. Thank you for watching. Appreciate the support, and I'll see you again tomorrow.